Welcome back to Hannity. So just like all the other decaying American cities, liberals are in denial about who's to blame for Baltimore's problems. Now here's the latest example, courtesy of Democratic Congressman Elijah Cummings. He represents the city of Baltimore, trying to brush aside who's really at fault.
You guys are as responsible for what has and hasn't been done as anybody else. Isn't that fair?
Chris, come on, Chris. You know, it's not about personalities, it's about policy. And you know and I know that a lot of the policies coming down from Washington, coming down from the state actually too, but coming from Washington are not necessarily kind to urban areas, particularly here lately.
Joining us now, nationally syndicated radio talk show host, I call him the great one, Mark Levin. We have 50-plus years, Mark, Democratic rule in the city of Baltimore, dominating politics in that city. $40 trillion spent on poverty programs since the Great Society, $1.8 billion in stimulus money to Baltimore alone, $1.2 billion a year in education. The president, Elijah Cummings, everybody else lecturing America, well, we're not doing enough for Baltimore. Is that the real cause?
Well, liberalism doesn't work. I guess we need to spend another $20 trillion, and maybe that'll have some effect. First of all, I want to say this. Where are the civil libertarians? Where's the ACLU? Where are the real lawyers in America, every single one who should be speaking out about what is already a travesty of justice? The mob on the street is in that state attorney's office. The charge of second-degree murder, false imprisonment. She didn't use a grand jury. She didn't take time to read the medical examiner's report. This is a disgrace, and the entire legal community should be rising up over this. Whatever happens in the courtroom, whatever happens with the judge and the jury, so be it. But the way this prosecutor has conducted herself is outrageous. Furthermore, they want to have a civil rights investigation from the Department of Justice. I can support that. Support this, investigate this state attorney. Investigate what's taken place here. Her comments, her politicization of a prosecution. Those are 6 cops. This isn't white cops with a black suspect. This is 3 blacks, 3 whites. It has nothing to do with race. And in fact, it has nothing to do with poverty either. It's just that people are projecting, as usual, their radical, their left-wing agenda on top of these events. But the bottom line is, and we must not forget this, these police officers are being railroaded, in my view.
I agree with you, but she addressed all of your cries of no justice, no peace. Quote, this is our time. Then you got the conflict of interest in the case of this woman. You got her husband in his position. You got the defense attorney in the position of giving her money and working on a transition team. For me, if these cops want a fair trial, don't they have to have a change in venue? Shouldn't there be a recusal in her case?
Well, maybe so, and there's no doubt a motion will be filed for that, and I suspect it will be turned down. It'll be very difficult. But all of that said, we should be focusing on injustice here. The mob is in the state prosecutor's office, the mob mentality. I don't care. Look, I'm a conservative. I don't run around defending mass murderers and terrorists and so forth, but I do believe in the constitutional system. How can it be that terrorists in Guantanamo Bay apparently have more due process rights, apparently are released even though they go back on the battlefield and they kill Americans and others? How can it be that they are treated one way and police officers another? There is a mentality in this country, and I'm sorry if people don't agree with me, I don't much care. There's a mentality in this country trashing law enforcement, like law enforcement has to be perfect. Well, law enforcement is not perfect. Reporters aren't perfect. Obama's not perfect. That's not the test. The fact of the matter is, if we lose order, we lose liberty, and we lose the society. You saw anarchy in Baltimore, that's what you saw.
So what do you do as an attorney from your legal perspective and your legal background? Because I agree that there was a rush to judgment here, a lot of politics in play. I think this was to appease an angry mob, and certainly we want to see the evidence. That hasn't been presented. That's going to take time. So if you're the attorney for one of these guys, what do you do, Mark?
You start loading up and filing motion after motion after motion. It's my understanding they haven't even seen the medical examiner's report yet. They haven't seen that knife a motion was filed. The prosecutor standing there just making allegation after allegation, making assertion of fact after assertion of fact. But the fact she's not asserting is, what's the basis of second-degree murder? None of us know. Oh, well, the guy wasn't put in a seatbelt in the back of the van. That's the basis of second-degree murder? We don't know. Now, it seems to me the American people and the people of Baltimore ought to know a little bit more than we've been presented so far. They shouldn't be free to keep their cards so close to their chest after she makes this brazen political statement last week.
What is your reaction to Pam Geller and the death threat that has come against her?
Well, you talk about cartoon characters. What's that guy, a mullah, an imam? What the hell was he? I don't even know what he is, up there spewing his idiocy.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Anjem Chowdhury. It sounds like a rash. I'll tell you this. The fact of the matter is, what Geller did, oh, she's provocative. We've never had provocative speech in this country, Sean. The Supreme Court has protected provocative speech over and over and over again. I'm old enough to remember the Nazis in Skokie. I'm old enough to remember neo-Nazis marching, Klansmen marching, the new Black Panther Party, Shabazz Shemagegi, or whatever his name is, in Baltimore, making the statements he makes about Jews all the time. The fact of the matter is there's all kinds of provocative speech going on. You bring weapons to an event like that for the purpose of killing people, the whole world should be dropping down on their heads. No excuses, no, but she's provocative. Who cares?
Yeah, well said. Mark, thank you for being with us. Appreciate it.